is the Ninja Rob Podcast with Marco Perazzo and Tim Carpenter. The podcast for the true martial artist.
All right. Oh, shit. Welcome to the Ninja Rob Podcast. You all right? We're good? We're there? We're back?
What are you talking about?
Okay. All right. They call me JB, and I'm going to do the check-in in the room real quick. Over here, Dev, how are you?
I'm healthy.
You're healthy? Fine.
Yes. I hope.
Timmy, how we doing?
Fantastic.
Fantastic. That's it?
Never been better. Yeah.
That's a lie. And back from the brink of death, you know what I mean? Our homie, our boy, the leader, you know, El Jefe.
I don't know about all that, but I am back.
You are back.
I am back.
So let's talk about your experience right off the rip, son.
Yes.
Let's see what's the deal. What happened?
I got
near
sick.
death. You were near death.
No.
What
No,
about
nowhere.
hypertension?
No.
Your diabetes. Your gout.
As near death as anybody is.
All
near
right.
death.
All right. Let's
No,
go.
you were closer. You were
I was what?
in the hospital.
So wait, you're going to tell me how close to death I was?
Son.
You were closer than, you said as anybody.
As anybody,
You're
yeah.
closer than I was.
No.
We don't know that.
I wasn't
No.
in the hospital. I
You're-
didn't have a team of physicians.
I'm not going to get into...
We were here podcasting. We were
Son,
not
we were.
close to death at all. As we were podcasting, you were
was
laid
what?
up in a hospital bed.
laid up.
Yeah.
I was doing laps.
Okay.
Yeah. No. So it was not the most deepest sick I've ever been,
Got you. That's interesting.
yeah, but it is the most...
Most deepest.
the widest,
The
the longest I've ever
the
been.
longest.
The longest I've ever been sick, right? And the only reason that I even considered going to the hospital was our friend NJ reached out to me
All right.
because we were, in the group text, and he's like, "How you feeling?" I was like, "I still got a fever."
The psychiatrist.
The psychiatrist, yeah,
The MD, son.
The MD,
MD, son.
yeah,
Remember that.
Ivy League.
Yeah.
So, like, first 4 or 5 days, I had a fever. Then the fever broke. I was like, all right, I'm feeling better. And then the next day, bang, it comes back. So, basically, I had a fever for 8.5 days.
Hey.
And NJ reached out and says, hey, he's like, I would just be worried that you might have a pneumonia. Go, what's the big deal? Go get yourself checked out. And then when he called me, I was like, must be legit.
Right.
Right. He physically picked up the phone and called. So then I called Carl and I said, hey, Carl, what do you think? He goes, yeah, take yourself to the hospital. He's like, it's not like you're going to die, but you're definitely sick.
Big deal, right?
You
Why'd you
know,
call
so-
Carl after NJ told you?
Well, because Carl is actually he deals with sick people.
He's in the throes right now.
Yeah. Carl deals with all that. So he was like, this is what they're probably going to do. And he was just like, everything that Carl said that they were going to do is what they did. They gave me remdesivir. Remdesivir.
Okay, all
Why
right.
do you know these drugs?
Because Donald Trump took it.
That's it.
And
Yeah, that was the good shit they gave.
and
That was the good stuff.
dexamethasone, which
They didn't
is
give that to the
a
guy
steroid.
that died. The 999 pizza guy. They didn't give it to him. Go
They
ahead.
gave me an IV, and so they were the only reason that I had this because this is the best part is I go to Jefferson in Center City because I believe that the hospitals in Center City are better than the hospitals in the neighborhood.
Right.
They put me in an ambulance to take me back to South Philly.
Damn, son.
Yeah, it's where they have room. But they were like your all of your numbers are like a point or two below where we're comfortable them being.
Right.
And that's what they were just consistently worried about.
Basically a point or two closer to death.
You prove this point.
Son, he's a survivor. Son.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
right. And he's here with us today, Timmy.
Wait.
Exactly.
You did this, by
How
the way.
long were you in?
Went Wednesday and came home Sunday.
The funny thing about that question is
That's
that
a long
if I ask you that
joint.
Yeah,
That's
question,
a long
it would
time.
be different.
Being in the hospital more than one day is a long, more
it
than a
was-
few
it
hours.
It is. That's long. When you got to
Yeah.
spend a night period, it's like feel
'Cause
real.
they don't want you spending.
No.
They
No,
actually,
they
you
do
know
not.
what? I think with COVID now they do want.
Oh,
it. I
tell
think-
me.
I think they get extra money. The longer they
Is that
have
what it is?
COVID guys.
Do
in
I
there.
get a piece of it?
Who told you
get
to
it?
I'll take a piece.
It's like 30 G's a night or
Who
some
told you
shit.
this? Who told you this, Timmy?
YouTube.
Okay, I
YouTube.
got it. I got you. I hear you.
Yeah, so it was unbelievably boring. They wake you up at fucking all hours of the
Right,
night
right.
to
Yo,
poke
what was the
and prod.
catheter like? The catheter was it?
The one on my ass was fine.
Oh,
No catheter.
oh, no
Yeah,
fun.
I could- So and they kept asking me, "Is your chest tight? Can you walk?" And I would get up and I'm doing laps up and down the hall
just because you had to.
because I could.
Right.
And like everything was. Are you sure you're okay? Because your numbers. And I go, I feel sick, but I don't feel like
Yeah,
oh my
like
god, get me a walker.
But I'm not a
or-
pussy. She says, I feel
Yeah,
sick, but I'm not a
basically,
pussy.
yeah. So then
I'm gonna die in this hallway, not that bedroom.
the day they release me, I go, do I have to call anybody? Like, no. I was like, fuck it. I just walked home. I literally walked 4 blocks
It
to
wasn't
my
that
house.
far.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
How'd you get it?
From my wife.
How'd she get it?
She got it from somebody who was vaccinated. Interesting. Interesting.
Got it from a vaxxer.
A vaxxer. Yeah. So so this is what we believe. We had somebody in the house that was vaccinated. We took all, they were in to do some work. They had certain precautions that they had to take. They had to wear a mask, and with socially distanced. They asked us to wear a mask. We did all of that, and then I was actually in the other room, had all the windows open, and my wife started feeling a little bit under the weather, and I just figured it was whatever. I was like, this person's vaccinated. Then they call us a couple days later and say, hey, that person you had in your house, even though they were vaccinated, they tested positive. And then I got it from her, and then the kids.
You're just fanning the flames, bro. Look at this guy.
Yeah.
Look at this guy.
Break down the tricknology behind this. What
please
happened?
Don't make him do it.
What?
Come on, the Yakubian magic. Tell us.
I have no idea. I'm not a medical doctor.
Oh, he's not
you're
giving
not-
away the
you're not a
magician's
scientist?
We
secret.
all know that.
So,
we all know that.
I wouldn't call myself an anti-vaxxer, but I'm skeptical
Okay.
of it.
All right.
And this is,
What is interesting is because
vaccinated. I've been skeptical of social distancing,
Okay.
vaccines. So he was social distance. Person was vaxxed.
so
He wasn't social. He
Still got it.
Go ahead, Marco.
The
but I
same
wasn't
as-
socially
as a
distanced
bunch
from my
of-
wife.
Right.
So there's the
But
difference.
she was social distance from the person.
Not really, because she was a little bit more. She had to deal with them way more than I did. So they were kind of next to each other, masked up. So
So social distancing itself is basically
impossible. Yeah.
Were you anti-condom as well?
He says they're for cowards.
He's always said that. Yeah, I've always.
I mean, you just seem like
I don't know.
you seem like you're
Not now.
anti-condom.
Yo, how about now? Are you
I'm
pro
married-
condom now?
I'm
Oh no,
married
he's married man, son.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I never had premarital sex, so I don't.
Dang.
Okay.
I
Really,
do
you're a
recall
good Christian boy.
Good. That's it. Nice.
So yeah, so then I walked home and they kept asking me because I guess whatever all the other people either must be really sick or
Right.
what have you, and because I'm the picture of health and
Son,
how
of
well
course.
good I eat, and
There you go.
What?
How good you eat?
And I clearly was sick. Clearly I had COVID. I tested positive. I wasn't well, but had it not been for kind of like those numbers, I probably could. I'm not saying I could have wrote it out at home and the same thing would happen, but if you ask me right now, like I'm almost like I didn't even have it.
Right.
So
Because chances are we could have, the rest of us could have been in a similar situation. I just never went to the hospital. I was going to die at home alone. That's what I was going to do.
Yo,
No,
the worst part, the fucking headache.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got the COVID headache.
Yeah.
On top of that, I wasn't drinking coffee, so I had
Yeah,
COVID
yeah.
headache and the caffeine withdrawal.
no coffee?
Brutal. I wasn't drinking hospital coffee.
What's
I don't
the
care how
second-
sick.
Oh, yeah, it's
I don't
all
care
right.
how sick I am.
What a
doesn't-
snob.
He doesn't have to do that to himself.
You should have called us. We would have come in with the
For real.
AeroPress.
AeroPress, and we'd have made it in the, you know what I mean? Brought
That would
it
have
in.
been great, man. It's-
We dress up like orderlies and sneak in.
oh man, the
Man.
fat boys coming
all
in.
over. So all three of
Those
us.
would be the
That would've been-
disorderlies.
I'm still
Yo,
Prince Marky D,
that's
though.
Black History points for you right
Yeah,
there.
disorderly.
Because earlier when we said Marco was delivered, you didn't know about delivered.
What happens when you
Yeah,
get
it's,
Oh, you
it's a
don't
whole
know-
nother thing.
yeah.
What's it
it's a-
from?
Well, I'll send it. It's a
it's a-
viral video.
Disorderlies is one of my favorite movies.
It mean, but when
Yo, I
you're
saw that in the
delivered,
movies.
it means you're not gay no more.
Nah, gay no more.
Pensacola
Well, then he
and
hasn't
Sam
been
Eric 3.
delivered.
No. I think I was in Deptford. It was for a friend's birthday bear. You know what I mean? That was the one. You almost get shot at that one. But go ahead.
But yeah, so clearly, what was really nice is how concerned all my friends became.
Yeah, man.
Like people were reaching out, sending food to my wife and like dropping stuff off if they needed anything. So that was beautiful. And then the phone calls, the texts, people wanting to know how you're doing. Of
course.
that was really nice. So
How's your wife doing?
she's
fine?
doing, yeah, she seems fine. Yeah.
She didn't. She handled it.
Nah, yeah, she didn't have to go to the. She didn't have to be in the hospital for 4 days.
She-
Wakanda, that's that Wakanda forever.
That's it,
You
bro.
feel me?
I will say that there's nothing on Netflix or Amazon Prime or Hulu that is worth watching.
That's because
Oh wow, you
you've seen
watched it all?
I basically, yeah.
Did your wife lose taste or smell?
No,
And did you at any
no,
time?
not as of yet.
Cool. Hey man,
Yeah.
listen.
Yeah, so my main thing was the fever and kind of just like feeling clearly tired from the fever.
Right.
So,
Man.
yeah.
Hey man, listen. And everything was handled at the school.
Everything was handled at the
popped
school.
in.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Everybody that kind of took care, kept an eye on things, and it was just one of those things that I haven't worn a mask at my school other than when we're in there with kids class. Like
Right.
I've been around people like Tim knows, you guys, like, and I catch it
From a vaccinated
from a
person.
vaccinated
Yeah,
person.
that's-
That part's crazy.
But for us, it was like we weren't really moving too far outside of our social circle, and then when we get the deadly Greenwood strain here at the podcast.
I mean, I've been around hundreds and hundreds of people
Yeah.
every week since like last May,
Right.
and I got it from in here.
Yeah, doing something that was
Yeah,
like
and I
totally
think
banal.
for me, what I think it is it's the proximity and the time, right? So if like you pass some, again, no scientist, right? I don't know. Tim can vouch for my scientific
What's the
pedigree.
question?
Is that
this segment's
it's the-
called Dr. Tim.
It's the time together, right? So had you guys just cross paths, fist bump,
Right.
Maybe wouldn't have gotten it.
I left here and no one that I came in contact with after here, I was hanging with my buddy, went and got something to eat. No one got it. No one got it.
Well, you're not, from what the health department people told me, you're not contagious right after you've been exposed. You're only contagious for like 2 days before you feel symptoms.
Okay.
That's what because the health department was asking me when I was talking to them. They were like, all right, who were you around? They're like, you're exposed on Saturday. Who were you around on Monday and Tuesday? And I was like, what about Sunday? Because I taught a class. I was around a bunch of family.
Right.
Right.
And they're like, no, we don't care about that. I was like, are you sure? Like,
That sounds kind of crazy. So you mean after I've had it for 4 days, I can't give it to somebody?
after you
No.
in between. So you have like, you get it on Saturday. You're not contagious Sunday. You're contagious Monday, Tuesday. Or I think they worked it out as
Probably Tuesday.
2 days, but 2 days prior to your symptoms.
Yeah, because I don't
when
think
you're contagious.
anyone, because I worked out on Monday and no one got it. And then Tuesday, that's when, you hit us.
I had a
You
couple
hit me.
people catch it at the school. I mean, clearly they probably caught it from me. So
That's good. It's the best thing you could have done for them.
That was the gift.
I mean, but what the funny part was is had
You vaccinated them.
I could have swore that I had been asymptomatic, like that I'd had it already, just because of not how careless I've been, but just because I made certain decisions that I'll be around people without a mask. It's not going to be a big deal. And I've been, I miss you guys, but like what were the chances? And then I catch it.
That shit punched you right in the nose.
Yeah, but I caught it from
Timmy's fault.
my wife, quote unquote, who caught it from somebody who was vaccinated.
Wait,
which,
your wife is quote
Cool.
unquote?
Yeah, that was kind of
No,
crazy.
the quote unquote was going on the next thing.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I was about to say.
Not the,
what?
Vaccinated.
That's his wife.
Yeah.
What happened?
They were quote unquote vaccinated.
Yes.
Said.
Yeah, I will say this, that what they do in Guantanamo, not letting people sleep.
Okay. Right. So that's the number one way.
Number one, if you would have seen the fights that I was getting in with 5-year-olds at my house and my wife, and just from not being able to sleep, needing to rest, it was,
Yeah, they say that for torture, that's the number one.
Yep.
It's just a matter of time before you break with sleep deprivation.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of time. So,
but I'm back.
yeah, and Devin's black. So, how do you feel just overall about the subject itself, or did it come closer into focus, or?
I mean, look, I at a certain point, based on my life choices, I knew that either I was going to get it or I was going to have to get vaccinated.
Right.
Right. So, and my wife and I had already started talking about vaccination based on kind of just like, their kids and school and family members and so forth and so on. And we weren't particularly in a rush just because, we kind of like live in these tunnels, right? So we have a certain set of people that we deal with. They seem to be good. So forth and so on. So has it changed? I've always realized that this is real.
Right.
It's
Unlike Tim.
yeah, right.
Thank you, Dev.
But it's not, I was sick for sure, but I guess if you talk to my doctors, they would say one thing where I'd be like, yeah, just, like I'm here because they're telling me I have to stay here.
Right.
Like the way I feel like I could walk home.
Right. Were you in the COVID wing? Is that what that,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
area
yeah.
was?
Mhm.
And was anyone else? You were just walking by yourself. You didn't.
Yeah,
There's like
yeah,
a war
there's-
zone in there, huh?
Not really. There was
People
like a,
dying left and right. And,
didn't
Well, this
seem,
is it's late. This
Running
isn't
around.
early in the,
oh,
in the thing.
it's okay now.
It's a time thing. And they got it under control, Timmy.
I don't know how
like
many
a
deaths
fire.
occurred while I was there.
Huh?
I can't vouch for any of the deaths or people that maybe I saved. I don't know. But
You gonna get vaccinated now?
if I were, it's probably not going to be for a few months. Wouldn't make any sense to.
Yeah, you should.
I mean, like I'm probably at my strongest of fighting it right now.
Your immune system's strong right now. So
You guys still wearing masks?
as
You doing
needed,
it?
yeah, when they need to. Like you got
as a for doing business.
Yeah, like if I got to go into the supermarket, it says mask. I'm not.
You got to for that.
I'm not getting. Listen, Ricky Schroeder, I'm not getting into any issues. You know
Not
what I'm
according
saying?
to the CDC said you don't have to.
Yeah.
If you've been vaccinated.
Right. That's I haven't been.
Oh no,
fully
you're in
vaccinated
Philly.
yet.
Oh, it's not like that in Jersey?
No,
Jersey still.
I'm just going by the CDC.
no. In Jersey,
Every time I go into because I've been into Wegmans a couple times and a couple other grocery stores, and every time I go in, there's like 3, 4, 5 more people
without a mask.
without masks.
How's it look?
Today I
How's
saw-
it look? Does it feel weird to look face to face with a person and see their whole face?
It is. The first time I went in without a mask, it was like just 1 or 2 other people in there, and you're like looking at each other and then looking at everybody else.
Yeah.
And then now,
Scoffing.
like I was in there a little while ago, and there was like a whole family in there without a mask on. It was crazy. It's just weird to see it after.
Yeah.
Listen, if I see
all
a
the
sign
time.
that says they require one,
Yeah,
they
that's
require
right.
one.
So
keep it
I
with
haven't
me, that's
seen
all.
any of those signs
Right.
anymore.
So
like
but they're all over here. So I mean,
and like Wegmans, I don't. They
Here
don't
in
have.
Church-
No, I went to the one
Near
in King
you.
of Prussia.
It's over for you, ugly big butt Jones.
That's it.
It's over.
Yo, that actually happened to me. So, and I was like, man. Then she took her mask off. I was like, ugh, she looked like a chupacabra. It was terrible. But
Do you know what that is, by the way?
Chupacabra?
It's the goat sucker. I know it.
Yo, that's pretty good.
He's on it. He's on it.
all right.
It's a mythical beast.
Everybody.
It
It's
hangs out with the coronavirus.
It's like Tim,
the Puerto
the
Rican
mythical
Jersey
beast.
Devil.
That's it.
Well,
Yo,
kinda.
that's it. That's basically it for the most part. That's all it is. So, but that's it. That's what they're still required in New Jersey. They're saying that he's going to change it really soon. So, and they're worried about the honor system, people not being forthright with the fact that they're vaccinated or not.
Well, I guess they could argue that the government hasn't been forthright with. So
But I did go get my first shot, and the experience was a little strange. I mean, they had these like young military kids, and you could see they just didn't care. He put the thermometer thing up against my forehead or near, and then just was like, all right, like they just, and then I walked.
He
into
did
the
not
room.
squeeze the
He was
trigger.
just like, okay, you go, and then.
did you feel anything after you got the shot? Like any?
So they were, of course, and I was dying right away. So I'm always like, oh god, they were mowing the lawn.
He
at
was
the
closer to
college.
death than I was while I was in the hospital.
They were mowing the lawn, and I was like getting like allergy stuff. I was like, oh shit, I was like, oh no, it's just.
Was
it's
your
just mowing
arm
the lawn.
is your
Oh,
arm
sure.
magnetic right now?
No, I don't know. I didn't check it.
You ain't put
I
the
leave my
magnets in
I
your
leave my
arm,
magnets
son?
home. That's it. So
That's the chip.
that was the only.
That's the chip they put in you.
That was it. Hey man, I'm fine. Listen, they don't.
Is your phone working better?
Yes, no, it doesn't. It's really, yeah, I don't. It was funny because it just was really kind of quick. And even in the observation room, they say you have to sit in here for 15 minutes. 3 minutes later, it's like, if anyone feels okay, you can go ahead and leave. So, and they give you a little sticker with the time, like you have to leave in 15 minutes. And it
100
seems like
180
everyone
seconds.
does what they're supposed to do. You know what I mean? Like the guy has to say he
Theater.
Yeah,
theater.
a
It is
little-
all, that's
theater.
what I mean.
yeah,
It's,
it's
all,
like the TSA. It's
all fake.
Like that kind of
fake.
thing. Oh, go the sign. The woman sitting in front of a sign with the arrow pointing in the direction, and then she points in the direction. She's like, "Oh yeah, you got to go that way." I was like, "Well, the sign. That's what the sign says. I have to go that way." So her job is to tell you to go that way, just
Point to
like
the
the sign.
sign.
That's it. So, and it was quick, man. My arm was sore for a couple of days, and other than that, no.
And now you're good.
Get a magnet.
We'll see.
You need to get another
report
shot.
back.
You have to get a second one.
Yeah, the second one, the date's already set up. So maybe more than likely I will. I don't have anything going on, so it's gonna be one of those things.
We'll be praying for you.
Yeah, hopes and prayers. That's what it is. Yo, let's get into let's talk about the UFC, son. Let's talk about.
Shit.
Let's see what happened. Ooh, Dev. Marco, were you on top of it? The Chandler fight.
Yeah, I saw Oliveira.
See Bond fighters fight.
Bad night for Black
I did.
history.
I did say.
Why?
It.
Because listen, man,
Doesn't
Chandler Jr. He's going to inherit all of this,
Yeah.
man. And I need him to inherit as much bread as
The
possible.
bloodline.
Whatever you want to call it, the bread line.
I think what's his name? Oliveira is a better story. Oliveira came from the slums of Brazil,
Yeah,
which
man.
is like,
And he went
you
back.
can't even
He
compare a
went back
slum
with the
in
belt.
Brazil to a slum in America. Like the slums
There
of
is
Brazil,
no
not,
comparison.
not even close.
No
But guess what?
comparison.
Like
Guess what the slums in Brazil got that we don't
What?
in the slums here?
What?
Supermodels. They got supermodels in the slums of Brazil, son.
I've been, and I've seen,
Listen,
and
so
yes,
to
man is
make
correct.
up,
You
so to
are
make up for the food shortage and rags and shit, they blessed them guys.
Yeah, well, it didn't help. It didn't help. It definitely helped Oliveira.
you
in
could take
fight.
the worst neighborhood in Camden, which what would you say is the worst, like the most dangerous?
Like I
neighborhood?
guess out north Camden.
Okay, you put North Camden in Rocinha, which is one of these favelas.
right.
They would be like, oh, those were the rich people live.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, that's the way it is. So.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the predictions. Timmy,
I think I was
you were
right
good?
on all of them.
I don't know about all
I
of
think
them.
he
but-
did have a great.
Really?
He had
I
a
said-
great
I said-
prediction. Yes.
I said, I think I don't know if I predicted how it would happen, but I predicted Oliveira would win. I predicted Ferguson would look like shit and get destroyed.
Man,
And I predicted that Blonde Fighter would win.
he did.
I'm kind of glad that
Right.
I'm just tired of Ferguson.
Yo, man,
It's
what's
over
wrong
with
with
him.
that dude?
I
son? It
feel
should be
bad
over
for
for
him.
him. You do?
I like the announcers made a good point. I don't know which one, but he said like a guy like Ferguson whose style is based on being like wild and aggressive and unpredictable. Once he sort of loses a step physically, and the other guys are, have been improving on a technical level the whole time, the holes in his like fundamentals really show through. So when he was on his feet, he looked like he didn't know how to fight. Like he was like kind of like jumping up and down and turning and running, which seemed to work out for him before. Like he would get hit and do a backflip.
It's like
and
he's button mashing, but his character's slower.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I do understand
Yeah,
that.
it's like
I
that.
I haven't played that
Perfect
often,
analogy.
but I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do understand that. I was having a conversation with someone the other day that they like to mimic that movement, that style, and I hate to see them do it when they're first starting out. And he's cool, I'm talking, the young boy. Yo, and I'm like, yo, you make it look really good, but stop fucking doing that. Like, just can you get the fundamentals down?
There's no reason to do a
and-
dive roll right
yo,
now.
but just the switch and the thing, I'm like, yo, just get the fundamentals down and then throw your cute shit into it. So.
Because they're, like, if you were to think about it, they're kind of the same fighter, Dariush and Ferguson, in the sense of,
What's the
black
difference?
belts
Time is the
in
difference.
jiu-jitsu,
Yeah, but
a little bit older, tougher.
Dariush is a very fundamentally sound
For
fighter.
sure,
Like
for
his,
sure.
his striking is technical, and his jiu-jitsu is super precise and technical.
That's what I'm saying is that if you were to say, hey, who's the guy you would want to be? Like, these guys are kind of close and similar. And even though Ferguson had that run for a while, everybody just thought he was unbeatable and unstoppable. But like you were talking about, Dariush has just been working his craft and his trade, that once the bottom dropped out on Ferguson, it's like he'll never win a fight again.
Right.
Yeah, they're talking about maybe him versus Nate Diaz next. They're talking about him versus Nate Diaz or maybe him versus Cowboy next.
No, so I was going to say him versus Cowboy needs to happen, and they could both just stop.
Nah, they'll sign it somewhere else. They'll
I'll tell you what would be a good fight would be Ferguson versus Diego Sanchez. That's the fight to make.
Yeah.
Two guys, those guys
They're the
are
same kind of crazy, aren't they?
basically
Yeah.
They're the
yeah.
same kind of crazy.
Those guys fighting.
Yeah, you
would
eat a
be-
heel hook,
would be great.
The fuck.
Damn, son. So the
Blonde fighter got the
Blonde
win.
fighter.
Yo,
was awesome.
congrats.
She had I think she had like a rough
What up,
first round.
Serm? Go
She had a
ahead.
rough first round, and then she really put it on in the third.
Her opponent seemed very upset at the end. She.
It was a close fight, but
Right.
even in the one round, she got taken down and I think mounted, and she was under control for a while. But as soon as she got out, she like went after the girl, and I think that could have even sort of evened up that round. But I think one of the judges had it like 30-27 for the other girl, which was ridiculous. But Blonde Fighter, I thought, looked a performance when somebody can come back from, the brink of defeat and really take over. I love that kind of stuff. So,
And then, of course, so what? Who else? It was just the main fight. I couldn't believe it. The way that happened,
that was
I
crazy.
was like, what?
Because after the first,
fuck?
that fight was back and forth.
He almost finished him in the first round.
Well, the whole fight was crazy because Oliveira took Chandler down. Chandler went for a guillotine. Then Oliveira takes Chandler's back. Oliveira escapes, drops him, almost knocks him out. And then 10 seconds into the second round, it's over.
It's just, if he would have did one thing different when he had him on the ground and was hitting him, I don't know whether it was throw his feet all the way to the left, get on a mount, I don't know. But the fight was so near, call it. And he dropped the ball on that and was done in the beginning of the first.
No, I think it's
second round.
more Oliveira. It's not, I don't think Chandler did anything wrong. I think Oliveira's just good.
Man,
I mean,
Chandler's been around for a
he
long
is good.
time
No,
now,
he
right?
did.
But that, you know what's
He's
cool
been
is
around
that
for a long time.
who?
Chandler.
Yeah,
He's
I
been
mean, it was
around
only
for a long time.
it was only his
Oliveira's-
second UFC fight.
Oliveira's been around even longer.
Oh, okay.
That's the cool thing about Oliveira is like 5-6 years ago in that fight, he would have definitely lost. He used to get hurt and not come back. He would just kind of fold and give up. But now he's able to weather that.
They got to bring that back. They got to run that fight
so?
back, bro. Yeah, I mean, it's a great fight.
Nah, they got to do.
Yeah, but I mean, what did Chandler do to warrant?
He's got to win
A
more.
rematch.
Now
Almost-
he's got to win more of UFC fights now because
Like,
he's
you
won.
can't
He's
get
one and
stopped
one.
and then get a rematch.
He's 1-1 in the UFC.
Yeah. Did he give the best that he has in the other fight thing that he was doing? You know what I'm saying? That other he was in when he
Bellator.
fought. Yeah, when he was fighting Alvarez and some.
No, I think he's at the peak of his career
He's
right
still
now.
at the peak,
Yeah.
right?
He could definitely be the champ, just not right now.
This guy.
So what's the next fights that are up? The next big one
Tonight we got Bill Algeo fighting tonight.
Okay.
You flying out?
No,
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna watch from home.
Gotcha. Coach from the sidelines.
And then
Text.
the
He
main
said
event
text.
is the Garbrandt and Rob Font.
Heard of Garbrandt?
Yeah, you guys don't even know.
No, I don't.
No,
a good fight,
Garbrandt is like the fastest. You know, he's that
He
motherfucker.
was like, yeah,
he
he-
fast as shit.
Garbrandt's
And he
done.
hits hard, but-
Rob Font, I think, is gonna win this one.
That's it.
I think Garbrandt's another guy that's kind of done.
Damn, man.
He had like 3 bad knockout losses in a row,
and he's
then,
an emotional fighter.
And then
always.
he
No,
just
100%.
Then he had that one sort of like that spectacular knockout where he dipped down and then hit the guy with the right hand. Where he like faked the guy out. and then
No. That
And that
was
was a-
perfect.
that
And
was a great knockout
that was at the
against-
buzzer.
Yeah,
That was right at the.
it was a great knockout against a mediocre opponent. It's like Sugar Sean. Everybody's all hyped up on him again because he had a great knockout
Listen, man,
against a
Sugar
mediocre
Sean
opponent.
did his thing, man. Stop hating
Yo.
on Sugar Sean, bro.
But Rob Font is a guy like Oliveira who's been consistently. I think he's on like maybe a 9 or 10 fight win streak.
And that's where you're going. You're going with. That's where you're going with that.
Font's got it.
Font all the way.
I'm
Dev,
predicting
same thing?
Algeo.
Listen,
and
man,
Font.
I don't know nothing about
And
Font.
who's
he Puerto
Algeo
Rican,
fighting?
so you
I don't know.
rooting for him and shit.
I don't know.
You don't know who Algio's fighting?
Tim's been very deep into the
I think he's a jiu-jitsu guy he's fighting. I think his name
Font?
is Ricardo Ramos or Ramos.
Oh,
So, I think that's his name.
In other fight news, did you see that the big heavyweight fight that they were planning is not going to happen? It was going to be Tyson against Joshua. That's
not
not
happening?
happening. No,
'cause
because
Wilder
Deontay
had
Wilder won his lawsuit or his
Arbitration, right?
arbitration, and now they're fighting in January.
What
They're
was the
starting-
point?
sorry,
So
July.
what was Wilder's point? Like what was
It was
the,
that he signed a contract to have a 3 match. He was guaranteed
goes
the
that way, it's a
rematch.
trilogy.
Yeah,
Yes.
he was guaranteed the rematch, and Fury was like, no. So they've been going through this whole thing all this time, and Arum, no one thought he was going to win, and then he won. So now they have
No one thought Fury was gonna win?
No one thought that
Their case.
that the case was gonna that Deontay Wilder's camp was gonna win. So they were already making plans for this $100 million fight in Saudi Arabia, and Tyson Fury was already making announcements, and then boom, he wins his arbitration, and now they have to fight. In the beginning, they were talking about giving Wilder like step aside money.
yeah, they was
But
trying
now-
to pay him to bounce.
to bounce
He
they're
said,
saying that-
"Fuck no."
No, he said he wants this fight.
That's
So
kinda
apparently,
cool.
I guess he's training, but
He's
we'll
still
see how
gonna
that works.
get fucking worked.
Yo,
over
and
by
then
Fury
in other
again.
fighting news, one of the Paul brothers, I don't know which one it is, I can't tell the difference, just signed a fight deal with Showtime Boxing. The big one, I
Can't
guess.
tell which one it is.
I don't
One
know
of
which
them
one it
never
is.
won
It's got to
before.
be the
It's the one
Jake.
that boxes.
It's
Is that
Jake.
that's who that is?
Jake
Jake's
is the
the young
one
one.
that's beating people to fuck
Okay,
up.
him. He just signed a deal with Showtime Boxing, five fights. So
if there's ever been a death knell for boxing?
it's gonna. You think so? And some people are thinking this is
You
gonna.
know what's weird?
revive
It's
it.
like, what if? I mean,
What if he's just good?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah,
what if
could
he
be.
just turns out to be a good fighter? And people have such an emotional reaction to it. It's like, well, he's a YouTube guy. Like he can't
Right.
fight, but he
Yeah, they all
trains.
No, well, he
saying
can fight, right?
Yeah, they all
Clearly.
So
keep
it's
saying
like, so if he can fight, and he just turns out to be a good fighter, and he's on Showtime, like,
he just happened to make
just gotta-
YouTube
Well,
videos
listen,
before.
the argument is that he hasn't fought any real boxers as of yet.
well,
That's the
he's
thing
not
that
a
they're
real
saying.
boxer.
you could,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right,
Well,
and
I mean, you
now-
could
now
say
what
that about
happens?
Other than Vasily Lomachenko, who was fighting anybody at 2-0?
right.
Right?
You could say that about any boxer when they first start out. It's like they haven't fought anybody yet.
No, but they have there's a whole
Amateur system.
Amateur system.
I
There's
get
a
it.
Golden Glove. There's a whole system on how, and you know that
but-
you've been
but
in
these
boxing.
guys-
I know, but
You know how
there's
they are.
guys like what was his name? Guy from Philly, heavyweight. He never had an amateur career. He just went straight to pro. And the guy like I think Gabriel Rosado. I don't know if he had any amateur fights, or he had very few amateur fights and went straight to pro.
There's a lot of people that just fought really
Yeah,
nobody,
but-
bro. Their first fucking 14 fights.
Right.
Well, and that's how you're like in boxing.
That's how you do it.
That's the
That's how they
formula.
do it. They build-
right?
they
They
build
build,
you
they
up.
pad
when
your record.
what my problem is when average people are watching this dude who's represents kind of an average guy. He's in the transition of the average guy to pro, right? If he's beating people ass, and I heard you brag about the fight that you had at Wawa,
Right.
then none of your fights count either. None of my fights, I've had all these fights with people. No, I take pride in my victories. Don't fuck that.
But it's
and
like,
if he's
you know-
going in there fighting and beating up whoever
Yeah,
signed the
yeah,
contract, you knocked out Ben Askren, guess what? Cheer yourself
You-
on. Pat yourself
you get
on
all
the
the- you
back.
get all
Fuck
the-
it.
Regardless of like his skill level or what people feel
Right.
about him, if you watch the videos of him training, he puts the work in.
Yeah.
Here's the good thing about fighting is that if he's not good, he'll get exposed. And if he is good, he'll get exposed.
Well, the
if
one
he fights
brother-
a real boxer and they fuck him up, everybody that doubted him will be happy. And
What
if
I
he-
think is going to happen is somebody is going to make a mistake. I'm not saying Tyron Woodley is going to make a mistake, but imagine a dude like Tyron decides I'm going to fight him,
Woodley will get fucked up.
and then Woodley gets knocked the fuck out, bro. That's going to be bad.
Well, listen. I mean, at the end of the day, he's getting paid for. If he gets paid, he signs a contract, gets paid, gets his ass kicked. That's
yeah,
what
the
it
one
is.
Paul brother that's not signed, he was saying, he's like, yeah, we don't take the dumb fights. He goes, if I needed to fight somebody that's a way better boxer than me, he goes, I'm going to fight them in MMA. If I need to fight somebody that's an MMA guy, I'm going to box them.
Hold on, who said
One of
that?
them is
The
Logan Paul.
Logan Paul.
He's
yeah.
fighting Mayweather. What the fuck is he
Yeah,
talking-
but that's the.
I think he was talking about Jake Paul. I think he said he's fighting Mayweather just because it's like insane and he can do it.
and he can make $100 million.
But
right?
he said he wouldn't have like Jake Paul wouldn't fight Conor McGregor in MMA, but he's like, I'll fight him in boxing. Or he said same thing. I forget who else he used a couple
Right.
examples, but
But they were like they're not dumb.
Yeah,
Clearly.
it's a smart, and they have a team. Like you can't do what these kids are doing, these guys are doing without having a team. So they're moving in the right direction. They know how to self promote.
It's just terrible coming from like people that appreciate fighting and true accomplishments and people working their way up through the system that's set to give us our champions. That these guys can basically become more famous than Canelo Alvarez.
So what it is boxing finally caught up to everything else in entertainment. That's all that happened, because for years, if you wanted to be a musician, right, back in the day, you had to really be trained, really know how to play a piano, really know how to do all this. And then it started changing in the 70s and 80s where it's like, okay, the producer will do this. Some of these people, you go back and listen to them, they can't sing that good. When
Right,
you
they
go
don't.
back to
They
the
kinda talk.
80s, 90s, can Madonna sing?
it's great.
How dare you?
Can Madonna sing?
I don't
No,
know. I don't know.
no,
I mean,
can't sing.
whenever I hear anybody sing, I think that's impressive.
But what I'm saying is, like, there's a difference between Madonna and somebody like, or a Madonna, a Cyndi Lauper, any of them, and Whitney Houston.
Whitney
right?
Houston can sing.
Interesting. Interesting.
so it's a
you're
different
using
thing.
two,
Totally different.
What's the
two
difference?
white
What's
females.
the difference?
All right, so look.
I think it's different.
All right, so look.
Whitney
look
came
out.
up.
Is it,
Hold on,
is there something
hold on.
genetic?
That's kind of, hold on, wait a minute.
Hold on.
Now it kind of does relate, since these is white dudes in this sport that's usually done. Anyway, so now, so what I'm saying is, rappers, if you wanted to rap back in the day, you had to make mixtapes, grind from the bottom, wait outside the fucking the Meat Puff Daddy, you're knocking on the door, you're trying to hand him a tape. And now dudes are like, I got famous for knocking over tables on YouTube of like vendors, and now I've got 2 million followers. I'm dropping an album to the moon. Cardi B, one of the biggest rappers in history. She's a reality star person that doesn't write raps, tells you, no, I don't write these raps. I don't
She's a
give a
prostitute,
fuck.
right?
Stripper.
No,
I wouldn't say that. She was an exotic
Exotic
dancer
dancer,
one time.
yeah.
One
Yeah.
time or another, yeah.
Burlesque.
You used to work amongst
She was a
the-
burlesque
the
dancer.
So,
ladies.
so it's happening in
She's a mother
everybody's
and a wife now,
profession.
right?
Like
Like
the
what else?
the guys that Marco grew up listening to, all the like rappers,
The rappity rappers.
them motherfuckers are sitting here like, yo, I remember you used to have to be
Yeah.
so prolific
a
with
lot
your
of those guys
pen.
are
I
really
think when it
upset.
comes to like UFC fighters, I don't know why any UFC fighters even think about going into boxing. It's like
Well, it seems like it's
you're limiting yourself so much. If you were to go, anybody that goes in to fight Jake Paul or any boxer in boxing, it's like the biggest advantage you have is be like, you're a pussy. You're just boxing.
Son,
Come over here and
it's
fight
a
in a
money-
cage.
it's a
Like,
money
yeah,
game.
yeah.
Because-
Because
because-
they're coming for the payday.
Now,
Yeah,
for
because-
those guys, it's a money grab right
And
now,
then
because a lot of those
so
guys
if-
were getting. Let's be
Bro,
honest,
you're getting 40
they don't get
grand.
much.
If you're getting 40 grand from Dana,
Right.
You know what
and
I mean?
you know that you could come over here and walk away with 3 million.
That's a lot of
Yeah,
money,
that's,
man.
that's
So
fine, but you got to
compare.
understand.
Not to get
you're
into your
basically
finances, Tim.
selling your soul. Like if you, like Ben Askren, you just got away. Is it worth people for the rest of my life? People seeing me get knocked out, looking like shit,
Because he
or do I
already-
want to
Or am I
just be
gonna-
remembered as a great MMA
Yes.
fighter?
No,
Well,
or
well,
am I going to leave enough for my? Am I going to create some generational wealth for my children, for my
Right.
wife? Am I
You
going to be
can-
able to take care of them?
Yes,
forever?
you have to
'Cause
weigh
let's,
out
let's
what's-
talk about that.
To
That's a
give
real
some
thing, bro.
context, what was the most money you ever walked away from after a fight? With
I don't talk about finances on the phone, on the computer.
Here we goes. So listen, if it was
So
So
listen,
you tell
what do
me,
you
like,
think-
would I
this
fight
ain't-
somebody for?
no. What I'm asking is, what was the most amount of money that you got paid to fight in any organization?
I'm not going to talk about my. How much money do you make a month? What's the most amount of money? How much money did you make last year?
10 years ago.
Pre-taxes.
Guys, Marco's back.
all
They're
right.
back.
So,
We're all
no,
back.
but so
This
we
is
can
Ninja
anyway.
Rob.
Yeah,
Let's
we
go.
could clearly go to the athletic commission and Google what you got paid.
Then why don't you do that?
It's public information.
You can
it's
go do that.
It's public information.
You can go do that.
Oh, all right, all right, guys. Next week we'll know how much. What's the
All
most
right, so
Tim ever
what's
made.
likely for an MMA fighter that reached the heights? And I barely said this
The
without
depths.
laughing.
Look at- look,
reach
look,
the heights.
look.
What do you think a guy? You're like. What do you think the basics are in the numbers when it comes to fighting? Not necessarily you, but like a guy who
like
does.
Ben Askren.
No, I'm
has
talking about
made-
guys in some of the lower points, like in not lower points, but some of the smaller productions, the Bellators and stuff like that.
They don't. No, Bellator pays pretty well.
Okay.
If you're a professional
What's that mean
fighter,
when you say
can-
like pretty well?
You can live if you're a popular fighter in Bellator. You can just fight and live off of that, especially with sponsorships and stuff. But anyway, you can. I'm not saying it's wrong or right. I'm just saying you have to, like, Ben Askren has to weigh out, do I want to be looked at as like an embarrassment to MMA?
Do you think he cares about his legacy?
He doesn't care.
Obviously not.
Well, let's use a better example.
Although, I don't know. He said, I don't know if any of you watched it, when he was getting interviewed backstage, he's like, this is fucking embarrassing. I feel bad for the parents of the kids in my academy. So now he's got to weigh that out.
He feels bad for the parents of a completely different sport that he just got knocked out in boxing.
No,
the
he
parents,
felt bad that he was involved in the event.
Well,
that's what he was talking about.
That might be a
Him
different
getting knocked
decision.
out as a product of being involved in
How about
the
we
whole
use?
event.
Can we use Paige Van Zandt as a measuring stick? A star, right? Because of face value in UFC, $40,000 a fight, right? That's what she said.
And that might be what she said, but I don't believe it.
She said $40,000 a
Why
fight.
would you not believe it?
Well, I mean, you can look at. I saw. I think Oliveira made over $800,000 just on paper. They get a lot. They get pay-per-view money. They get all kinds of stuff.
But she said
Chandler got like $400,000 or $500,000.
She said
She
I got $40,000 to fight, and then I went there. They're telling me this is a bad move for me to go to bare knuckle boxing, and they gave her $400,000 and something.
That's great.
She said I got 10 times the amount that I get to fight there. So even if I lose and I'm getting hit or whatever,
she wins.
Listen, man,
wins, and that
You
organization
can't go
is
to
still
the
going-
grocery store with your legacy. Okay,
Right.
you cannot walk into the grocery
I'm
store
not
with your
saying
legacy.
it's wrong or
That's
right.
what
I'm
you
just
can't
saying
do.
that's
No, you are saying it's wrong,
weighing
right?
it out. You're saying
that's the decision you have to make. Do you want to be
Right, because
you
you're
wanna
selling
feed your
you're
family. Come
selling
on,
your
son.
body to the sport, right?
Listen,
and it's
one way or the
and
other.
you got to get a
But you
return
also have
on
to,
that
you have to live
investment.
with yourself. So okay, somebody offers you $1 million to give him a blowjob, a dude. Like it's $1 million.
Hold on,
Why
hold on.
wouldn't you
Wait
just?
a minute. Wait. Is he handsome? Is this gentleman
Is he
handsome?
already in the Is he already in the sex trade?
Yeah.
It's Joe
You know what I
Biden.
mean?
Joe Biden.
What? The president, son?
Yeah.
No,
What?
that was
Yo, I gotta do it for my
brilliant.
country?
That was brilliant, Marco.
What?
He said, "Is he already in the sex trade?"
That's right. You hear
It's
that, man?
No,
different.
you.
No, me. You
No,
said
no,
me.
no, no.
$400,000. Like, what's the most amount of money you made in a month? And I'll give you $400,000 to
No, I've
give
made-
oral sex to a homeless guy out on the street
I've made more than that in a month.
in a month.
Currently.
Okay, I'll give you
Every day.
$400 million.
It's still not enough.
Not enough. Okay. So there's
Because
there's certain things you won't do for money.
I have a billionaire lifestyle.
So
So
do
money's
you.
not important
So
to
do
you.
you.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why I'm not afraid to talk about it.
Right. But you still haven't told us
Unlike-
how much you make a month.
Right.
What's that?
You guys help.
If you put it on the table, I'll put it on the table.
This sounds like
I don't want to talk about it.
this sounds like a different type of
You're the
exchange.
one.
Doesn't it? Yo, what's
So
going on?
I
What
will
is this
not
about, yo?
divulge
What is this
personal
about?
finances
Got
What are you afraid of?
because gentlemen don't discuss money like that.
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
Ooh.
Can I ask
All
you a
of a
question?
sudden,
The
you're a
IRS
gentleman.
could be
Oh,
listening.
Hold on.
the
I got a
IRS.
question.
There.
Everybody needs to know the
Therein lies
answer. If the answer was $14.5 million, would you say?
That's
no,
a
I
good
made
one.
$14.5 million off that fight.
That's probably a good one. No.
I
Either
don't
way,
want-
you don't talk about it.
I don't know. Like it's kind of crazy for people to sit around and talk about how much money they make or how much money they have. There's people listening. Like that's
No, because
No,
but
no,
Joe-
no.
then
no, no,
somebody's
no.
like, oh,
It
he
just
made,
gives
he made a lot
You're
of
not
money.
gives us
bragging.
context.
We're
It gives
educating.
context to the idea of the sacrifices that you made, and maybe they weren't the most or the best
I
financial
would have
decisions.
fought until I would have fought for free. I got into fighting. I didn't get into fighting for money.
Exactly.
Right.
Right.
That.
But
And
that's
you fought
because I
like it.
wanted to fight.
Right.
But I wouldn't do something I didn't like for free. And there's a certain amount. There's like we all have a certain. I mean, obviously, you'll give oral sex to homeless guys for a certain amount of money.
Okay.
Right. So
I mean,
would do
if
that. I would
that's
do
what
that.
you dream of, go for it.
listen. So this is what it comes down to. If a person makes it to wherever they want to make it to financially, right? They don't have to divulge that, but they're divulging what they made at a certain point to
Certain
educate
level.
people
Right. Yes.
to say even whether this are bad or good. So let's use me. I still don't got to tell you what I make, but what I will say is I did an $18,000 fucking contract to do a comic book, bad move, and I could break down all the reasons why it was bad. And that I would have drew some gay comic book or something like that, right? For $1 million rather than the same.
Yo, since we're going that direction, what's the name of your gay comic book, son? What would it be?
What would it be called?
Yeah. The Adventures of Mr. Cheeks.
I'm not the writer. I'm just the illustrator.
Oh, okay.
You feel me?
Listen, I got you. You're not in charge.
It's
of
not
the
my
episode.
idea, son.
Got you.
Yeah.
But going back to Ben Askren, he probably did what he had to do in order to. He could care less about his legacy. You can't walk into a supermarket with your legacy and buy food and take care of stuff.
Like I said, when you watch when he was getting interviewed,
Yeah,
by
man.
Why would
he
you
regret losing?
You don't believe
son.
Paige Van Zandt that she made $40,000 a year or $40,000 a fight, but you believe that Ben Askren is worried about his legacy. Like, what's the?
I'm just going off of like what I saw in
Demeanor.
His demeanor while he was being interviewed. He looked like he was extremely depressed.
He just got knocked out.
No, this is before the fight. This is before the fight when he was embarrassed just about being involved in it
So why was he involved with it?
for the money. He's willing to. Maybe he
Sell his
saw
soul.
up front. He's like, all right, I'll do that for money. And then as he's doing, he's like, fuck, this was a bad idea. What if he made $1 million for that one night, right? Then he's got his wrestling academy that might make him $4 million over the next 10 years. So he has 1 million or 4 million over 10 years, right? But because of the fact that all the parents that he was worried about watching this disgusting display of depravity on TV with Cardi B and all these people, they pull all their kids out.
Cardi
He
B,
loses
man?
his
No.
his reputation in the wrestling community. He becomes a joke and he loses his wrestling business. So he took 1 million in exchange for 4 million.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen though. That's not.
Of course, it's an extreme example. I'm just saying those are the things that you have to weigh out.
And you don't think he did that?
I don't think he did that. Not based on the interview that I saw during the event. The way he looked like he's like, I shouldn't. The look on his face was like, I should not be doing this.
So you don't think any MMA fighters should transition to boxing?
I didn't say
just
that.
to make.
No, I'm
get
just
paid.
saying your personal opinion.
Yeah, your personal.
Well, I
opinion.
thought you did say that none of these MMA fighters should fight in boxing.
Yeah, you just did that.
Well, don't go there if you don't want to. If you're a good boxer and you want to do it. But I'm just saying, like, you're risking.
I'm super confused. I don't know if it's the COVID or
I think it started because he was saying
Shots.
he was pissed that like Tyron Woodley was going to go into it.
And he's going to lose.
I know why I look like I have track marks.
Yeah.
I want to know why you look like you have track marks.
It's a burn.
Okay.
Hey,
He
Nick-
was talking about
hey,
Tyron
Nicolette.
Woodley being embarrassed from getting knocked out by Jake Paul.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you risk that but like, why would a fighter even go into that? You do it for money, but you're risking your legacy.
I agree.
So he's saying,
Tyron
like-
Woodley, I agree.
But do
I
you,
agree
you think
with him.
Tyron Woodley thinks he loses that fight?
No.
Never.
No,
Never. There's no way that he thinks he loses that fight.
he doesn't think it.
He doesn't think it, but
Did you? Okay. Will you answer this question about your fight career? Did you ever take a fight that you think that you were going to lose?
Yep.
for real?
What fight did you take that you thought you were going to lose?
I don't want to say.
It's a Timmy
Interesting.
book.
I mean, there was fights. So
Wait, did you win it or lose it?
I won.
You won the fight you thought you were going to lose.
I won a couple fights I thought I was going to lose, but
For the love of fighting, that's why you did it.
I lost the fights I was 100% sure I was going to win.
It's almost like your UFC prediction.
Yeah, I'm very bad at predicting fights.
Yo, he
No, I
always
did
said that.
take-
Even your own.
I took two fights where one fight where I was like, I'm probably not going to win that one. And then another fight where I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, a little 50-50 here.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's
a
not
real
what-
dude right there.
Yeah,
He's still
man,
winning
listen,
there. That's
that's
right,
what-
Timmy.
Won't what it is.
Won't tell us how much he
But,
made.
but I'll tell you
ones?
why. The reason I took the one fight was because it would give me an opportunity to get more money.
Wait a minute.
The reason
Man,
I
you're
took
like
the
a
fight-
riddle wrapped in a
What are you
conundrum
talking
here.
about, bro? Huh?
Now, the reason I was like, all right, well,
If you do well
it
here,
was somewhat of a crossroads where it's like, I can do this fight and then that might get me into a higher level of fighting and more money. You know what I mean? But
so
I didn't
when
know,
did money become more important to you when you in your career?
and I mean, money might be kind of the wrong thing to say. It was just like
No,
it would advance.
You were telling the truth when you said it.
It was advancing in the career. It was going to get me into the Bellator tournament, which was more money, but it was also like just a step up in competition.
And to be Bellator champion.
I didn't really care about that. I didn't think I was ever going to be the Bellator champion.
Why?
We wasted a lot of time.
Bro.
Well, it wasn't my
That
goal.
drive to
My goal
West
wasn't to be the
Virginia.
Bellator
I know,
champion.
right?
Damn, son.
Huh? Your
My
goal?
goal, I wasn't like
I drove all the way
I didn't
back.
have that in my head as like the belt wrapped around my waist.
So what was your goal
you
when
took
you was
every
fighting?
To fight the guy that I was fighting.
Yeah?
I was worried more about that, not winning the whole thing.
I thought everybody imagines themselves with the gold all on them.
No.
Yeah, I thought that's what you're supposed. That was the whole point of the thing. So where do we see older fighters transitioning and younger fighters? It doesn't seem like the guys that are young that are fighting MMA are gonna jump into boxing just
Yeah,
to
it's
make
weird
some
that
extra
you
money.
don't see. You don't see like Cody Garbrandt's not talking about going
Yeah,
over to
because
bare knuckle boxing.
contractually he can't.
Yeah,
he-
that's
but-
another thing because they say now they're going to start making changes in these guys' contracts. They're probably going to start
Well, they
owning
talked
them in
about
perpetuity, all their stuff.
GSP can't fight De La Hoya because Dana White owns
Right.
him in perpetuity or until he runs that contract out.
Right, he finishes it out.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, which is a big deal. That's what happens. That's what happens a lot, though. The music industry is the same way.
But I also heard that Dana was trying to get the brothers to come over there.
Listen, man. Whatever's happened behind the scenes,
He
I'm
would,
sure there's all
he would
kinds
love
of
it
stuff.
if they would fight an MMA fight in the UFC.
I mean, put it like this: he gave CM Punk a fucking opportunity, and
Not
CM,
just CM
hold on,
Punk.
but I'm saying CM Punk. All right, so there's a difference between CM Punk and what he did with Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is a superhuman figure. He's kind of like the dude that y'all train and shit. That's super strong and shit like that. He's going to do well in some
But
capacity.
he also was a national champion wrestler.
Right, but on top of that, he's just a phenom of a person.
And he had a couple
CM Punk is built like nothing and didn't fight anybody.
Yeah. And they juiced that. They juiced that one. Oh, they got the seeds.
Well,
the
they've
pulp.
always
they got it all the way out.
They
of
were
that
always
one.
trying to get that crossover wrestling fan into MMA because in Japan there's no real difference. Like back in the day, you'll have worked fights and real fights on the same card, and the fans don't care.
What the fuck?
They're just having a good time. So where do we see the progression? Where do you see it?
I'm lost in the conversation.
We're still lost with the bullshit you've been saying, but that's all right too. So
Where do we see what?
the fighters.
Boxing's
transitioning.
dead. Boxing's dead.
It's not dead yet, but
It's dead.
okay. It's
It's
just dead
been
here.
dying for 20
It's
years.
not
Nobody
yeah,
gives-
it's
nobody
like
gives
New
a
York
fuck.
City has been dead.
Nobody
right?
gives a fuck about boxing.
Nah, people do. It's just not here.
Canelo
The Russians are having a
Alvarez.
great time.
You see
I
how
like-
many motherfuckers came out to watch Canelo
Well, not
Alvarez
just that,
fight?
yo. In Russia, boxing events are huge, and those guys, man. Let's be honest, those guys are doing it, man.
Are you familiar
You know
with
what else?
Teofimo?
Strelka is huge. in
Yo,
boxing.
Teofimo Lopez?
let's talk about how chubby you kind of looked in that Stroker video, son. What's up? What was up with the vest?
I don't know.
That's the
That's
dude
what they-
style.
That's what they
Oh,
want.
okay.
The,
All right,
the
listen.
vest was way too small. He was like,
Hey,
here.
man. Oh,
I got this.
that's why you had love
He's
handle.
like, here, I got
Your
this
Chichos. That's
especially for you.
nice.
Did you get to keep it?
No, because then he asked me for it back right afterwards.
What?
He's like, can I have that
I'm
back?
lending this especially to you.
Yeah.
Damn. Why would you have that on in the desert, bro?
That's Bull's outfit.
I
That's
don't
his.
know.
That's his thing.
He also,
That's how he does it?
also
Cool.
gave me like a shirt to wear, but the shirt kind of stunk. So I was like, I'm not going to wear it.
He got like old school 50 Cent vibes. Like the outfit that is kind of like 50
Oh,
back in
all right,
2003.
That's what it looked like.
Because you know, in other countries they get styles late.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
But you did. Did you watch Stroker by any
I
chance?
did, yeah.
Yeah. What'd you think?
It's terrible.
This is amazing. It was good and terrible.
I was waiting for Tim to trip in the sand about 4 or 5 more
Yo,
times.
man.
He did.
But you had a great time.
That was great.
Yo, how much did they pay you? Forget it. We're not gonna talk. That's not.
There was no money exchange.
Wait, you mentioned how much they paid you on the last podcast.
I didn't.
Okay.
Did he just try to trip you up? Did Marco?
Yeah.
That was Yakubian trick
That's
knowledge.
That's trick
I
knowledge.
have a number in my head.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah. I guess we got to talk about it often.
Yeah.
Timmy doesn't talk
I
about.
mean, release the last podcast. then.
Release the
Go ahead, release the last
Kraken.
podcast.
You release it.
Listen,
I don't know how.
I know when when I was going to work there, they was going to give me a hoagie and a donut
Sandwich.
and a flight, and I was with it. I want to do that
Oh,
shit.
you
I
know
don't
what's
give a
funny?
fuck.
As I was-
So you get, like,
Yo, I was
I wanna
watching
do
you.
the things you want to do, you do them for free.
Yes, yes.
And that's
Listen,
the thing,
Stroker,
is
holla at
almost
me.
all fighters get into fighting, they would do it for free. They don't, like GSP, he ended up making millions of dollars, but he started just because he wanted to fight. There's no real money in it when you get started.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. How much did Brandon make?
I think Brandon paid to
he paid $45.
Like when you do jujitsu, you just pay hundreds of dollars to enter tournaments and travel.
How about the small events? You had to sell tickets. All the guys have to sell their own tickets and everything.
Yeah, man.
It was you had to pay your dues. That's what it is, man. It's one of those things. Yeah, Brandon's fight turned out well. How'd you like the event? Because since you haven't been here,
it was cool. It was what you would consider a typical smoker inside of whatever they were legally dictated to call it.
Questions?
We got a couple.
Okay.
But yeah, so it was nice. It was well run, and also the kind of the safety of the fighters was
important.
Was important because they'd
That's great.
asked Brandon in between rounds, like, "Hey, can you back off a little bit because you're chipping the kid up?" And I told him, I said, "Look, if he gets out of hand, put the goon hand back on him.
Lay it on him.
Don't let yourself get fucked up."
Right.
So.
Yeah, I can't take not in a fight where we punching.
Yeah, but
I'm not taking nothing off nothing.
Well, that's because you're a savage. So
I'm just saying.
I was at the barbershop I go to. One of the kids from the school that I think the kid that Brandon fought goes to the barbershop. So the barber was like, "Hell, man, how'd your guy do?" I was like, "Yo, he did well." He was like, "Yeah, the other guy here, he didn't do." I was like, "Well, where does he train? Where does he train?" And it turns out it might have been the guy that got chipped up. Timmy with the questions. What we doing, Timmy? Let's go.
Hold on 1 second.
Always prepared.
Always ready.
Yo, listen. This is what you get when you come to me for the questions. That was something I heard when we went to Denver. I was like, "Yo, what is this?" You let me set it up, man. This is what you get.
Tommy Rocks asks, what kind of things do fighters consider before moving up a weight class?
What they should consider is if they can make the weight class that they're, if you're consistently missing weight, then you need to move up. I think that's the biggest thing. Like if you can make 155, you fight at 155. If you can't make 155, then you need to move up to a different weight class.
You consider a lot of things. You consider, you might have more winnable fights in the weight class up. Like if let's say you're in the division with Israel Adesanya and you're like, fuck, I don't want to fight him, but you think you can beat Jan Blachowicz, then maybe move up to 205. So I think most fighters could fight within the other weight class, the one above them, Like Blachowicz, I think, was a heavyweight when he first came in. So I think he can go up to heavyweight. Marco, did you miss Tim?
I did up until I got here.
And Tim, did you miss Marco? No, it was nice not having him. It was also nice not having him in the group chat so much.
Wow.
He even took a break from the group chat. He was like very sporadic with his responses.
I was very tired. High fever.
Listen.
Hold on, real quick. Let me back up to that question about why do people lose punching? Why does the punching power? You can't knock people out just one weight class difference. Why is it that?
The guys are bigger.
But why does the knockout so different from that little amount of pound? Like I never understood that.
Yeah, it's because let's say you're 185 and you knock people out at 185. The guys that are fighting at 185 are cutting down from 210. Then you go up to 205. The guys that you're fighting at 205 are cutting down from 230. Some of those guys are cutting down from 240. So you're fighting heavyweights. So you're a 185er punching heavyweights in the face.
But in boxing, like it's like the weight classes are 6 pounds difference, not 15 or 20.
Yeah.
And you move up one weight class and you'll see some major differences.
Like
in
yo,
power.
you'll be a knockout. Like you knock everybody out at 140. When you go to 147, no knockouts. I don't understand why.
It'll be
it's
mental
like
as well.
But it's mad fighters like that. They don't knock nobody out at that point.
I guess it's a sweet spot.
Yeah.
It's probably just a sweet spot.
Bigger guys are harder to knock out in general. Lightning Count BJJ just wrote, what? ?
Where? My response to what is where.
Or
Who?
there you go. There you go.
Did you get any questions on your IG?
I got one more.
We're riveted. So
From
we're
Ivy
waiting.
BJJ. Hey, this is what you get. If you found out this world was a simulation like the Matrix, would you try to escape?
That's what I did when I was in the hospital for 4 days. I figured out it was a simulation. We're in a simulation.
We are 100% in a simulation.
Really?
One,
wait,
I am
all right.
a certain.
The question is not if we are in a
No,
simulation.
No, I like the simulation.
Listen, so do you got the answer
staying
right?
here. I'm
Do you
staying
see me trying to escape this motherfucker?
what you're trying to get
Fuck
out
no.
right now.
Because guess what? Fuck no. Whatever is your reality that you're in, stay your ass there because you don't know what happens when you tear these layers away. Did you see the real world of the Matrix on the Matrix movie? It sucked.
Yes.
They was better off drinking their fucking lattes, chilling with business suits on. You fucking crack that shit open. Everybody's got on Kanye clothes.
You'd rather live in a lie.
Yes.
Okay.
The fuck?
And how about you? You'll fight your way out if you found out? How'd you
I would take the red pill.
really? That makes sense.
You're a red pill guy.
Yeah, of course. Of course, the red pill.
Take a red pill.
And that's it for questions? Are we
it for
doing hate
questions.
on site, love on site?
Nah, we're doing that right now. Hate on site.
Oh shit.
Timmy, you got to hate on site? Yeah, exactly. No?
No, I don't.
Damn,
No?
son.
Nah,
Yo,
masks.
son.
I hate on site people with masks now
For real?
because I'm an anti-mask.
People. Since when, son? That just started.
Since
now,
this week, I think on
Now,
Tuesday or Wednesday.
Now the CDC said you don't have to wear them. Now you hate them.
Yeah.
All right,
No, I always hated them, but now I hate people wearing them because
Right.
they don't have to.
there you go. Love on hate on site, Margo.
People that don't look me in the eye when I'm in line trying to order something, and there's just like look away and can I help you? And I'll just stand there and wait till they make eye contact, and then they'll ask me, and then I'll just turn around and walk out of the store.
Nice. Hey, man, hate on site. I hate obvious liars. People who like with the fake tests and stuff like that. This is something that happened to me the other day. Some guy starts quizzing me on some shit, and I know what he's doing. So then I start fucking clowning him, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Yo, stop. And that's the one thing. It reminded me of a story. Marco and I were doing something, and he ran into an old student who's back, and this dude was fucking swollen as shit. And Mark was like, hey, you going a little hard on things? Like, no, I'm just doing, just jazzercise. This motherfucker was juiced to the gills. You know who you are.
Yeah, you
That's
trying to
kinda-
act like that was just
no,
natural.
No, this is no.
That's just
that.
slavery.
You lying motherfucker. So it was bad. How about hate on site, Debbie?
I don't got no hate on site, man. I
None?
want to jump right to my love on site.
Do you have a hate on site yet? Or you already hated
I have
it?
a hate on site that somebody sent in.
Let's hear it.
Oh.
Let's hear it, listeners.
Luke Davidson. Is that
Oh,
his
yeah,
name?
yeah.
That's your guy?
That's from a week or two ago?
I don't know. From May 5th. How many weeks ago is that?
A few weeks.
People who take their shoes off on airplanes.
I always do that.
Yeah, bro.
Ooh.
Yo, I'm straight.
Ooh.
I'm straight toes out.
Ooh.
Birkenstock
For
out.
real?
In the plane, hell yeah, son. I don't want my toes all constricted. Feet out, son. Especially now that you have to take everything off. I'm going through with sandals, really. Yo, those people that have like sandals on or like flip flops, they know what they're doing.
Maybe I'm never that relaxed on a plane.
Hey man, listen, man, I'm falling asleep. I'll die asleep.
I could go to sleep with all my clothes on.
You know what?
Straight up.
I was on an American flight on the way to Strelka, and they have like a new thing in the seat in front of you. They have a little thing to hold your phone. So
Okay.
it's like a little flip thing.
Oh, bet.
But it doubles as you can lean forward on it
And sleep.
you
And that's
use,
how you
like,
slept?
use it as a pillow. Because like normally I can't put my head down because I'm too tall. But the little phone tray can support your head. It's great.
That's all.
Matter of fact, yo, my hate on
Love
site
on
is
site.
going to be
We're back.
my hate on site is going to be seeing great fighters decline. Even though we hate watching a dude like Khabib walk away, imagine watching Khabib 4 years from now and he's losing back-to-back fights.
Yeah, but we deserve that.
No. I don't want to see Khabib. I want to look at him in the legendary thing.
So
like,
Khabib is a perfect example of a guy. You're not going to see Khabib fighting Jake Paul. You're not going to see
No.
Khabib
Even
selling
if
his
they
soul.
don't know, listen, man, don't give him too much credit. You're giving him way too much credit, right?
No,
Really early.
No, he's a
I
man.
hate agreeing with him.
He's a man of principle, and
All
that's
right.
the thing. Is like you admire.
Tim loves those guys
Yes,
from that part of
listen,
the
You
world.
man.
admire
You know
a
that.
man of principle more than you
Okay.
admire a man with a bunch of money.
Okay. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. The guy with the money hires the guy with the principle. It's one of those
Maybe.
things. Love on site, Dev.
my living room.
Oh,
I'm mad right now.
He went from hating this
My
fucking
girl and
place
my
to
son
now.
is cheating on me right now watching a movie at the crib, man. The first movie at the crib.
the
Isn't
Flunk-
it crazy how much like I had the same experience? Like once I had a house, like I don't even want to leave.
It's like I'm
I just want
fucked
to sit in the
up,
living
man.
room all day.
Yo, we want you to stay home more too.
So the living room is
I'm
what they do right here. Boom. Rah. Love on site to me. Was that it? Just the
living
yo,
room.
you love all parts of it? The furniture, the television,
man,
the floor,
yeah.
the hardwood floors,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, man. I got the hardwood floor, man. I just got my
The chair?
sectional recliner Jones where like we had the movie theater. You know what I'm saying? I just find myself hitting the buttons for no reason, like a little kid.
It takes forever to come up and down though.
It do.
It's like when you want to get
your time.
like once you sit down and you forget to get a bottle of water or something, you're like you don't even want to bother getting up because it takes so long to put the thing.
You're right. Where the old school joint where they had the lever, it was just instant.
And the old lever kind of propelled you out of the seat.
It launched you out of the fucking seat.
It's just like,
bro, I haven't been in one of them lever ones since
They
the
stopped.
80s, but I
They
do
killed them.
remember like
you can launch yourself.
Yo,
forward.
remember there was the ones with the lever like on the inside under the cushion, the hidden one.
Oh, I never seen
I
that
saw
shit.
those.
My grandpa had the lever on the side.
Yes, the lever itself. Then they have the ones that you would push.
Then
and
look
do
with
it,
the
then
lever
push.
joint, you never got to worry about nothing. Them shits keep working, but
Yeah.
these electro joints
the
might just
electro
burn
joints.
out of some
They
shit.
are.
It's weird
They
that
are.
you, like it, I don't know if it's always been like this, but I have a nightstand and like a dresser that plugs in because it's got like charging ports in it, and I have a chair that plugs into the wall. So
Yeah,
it seems kind of like
so
The chair's
my
it's the-
sectional,
it's the electric one, yeah.
my sectional has to be plugged in 4 times,
There you go.
right? Because each chair plugs in by itself.
Yeah.
And then I have I didn't know this, my dresser, they plug in.
Yeah,
And then
have
you
charging
sit your
ports.
phone on it, and it just charges
just collecting
automatically.
data.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
It
it's
knows how many pair of underwear you have. So it's collecting
but,
data
but
for
everything
Amazon,
like
so.
that in my house, my refrigerator's the knock one, and then you see through it and shit, and it'll tell you when your food's going bad, like it's
You
Wi-Fi.
got a see-through fridge.
So it's
Oh, you
not
have a
see through
you have
at
a window.
first, but when you knock on it, it turns you see through.
It's a window or like it's like a camera.
It's
on
like
the
a
inside
window.
of the
It's weird. It's like the way the light shines through the glass makes you be able to see through it all
Look
of
at
a sudden.
that.
You know what I'm saying?
I've never lived that life, so you got that.
Yeah, and then
That's crazy.
it tells you all this crazy shit, makes
The
all these
weather.
different ice cubes, the circular ones, the perfect
What?
ball. Yeah.
You went all the way in.
Yeah, no,
what kind
it
of fridge
came
is
with the
this?
house. It's $4,000. It's a
Hey, man,
Samsung.
listen.
Oh.
Love on site.
People without masks.
Good one. Very clever. Marco, love on site.
Everyone that was concerned for my health while I was sick.
Bro, it's so good. It's really good to see you. It really
you.
is. And my love on site is good people. Because I got a chance. I saw someone I was there and she stopped in. She gave me a big hug. It was, she's such a little tiny person. And it was so good to see her, so good to spend, just have that time while I was watching her train. And it was just great to see. Love on site's always great to see good people. You know who you are. Shout you out. So
Especially after like a year you haven't seen
Son,
people. You
just
see
some
certain
people.
you see certain people
Yeah.
like every week
yeah.
for like
But-
years, and then you go like a year without seeing them, and then
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's a special time. We'd like to thank everybody for listening. This is the Ninja Raw Podcast. We love Marco. Thank you for coming back, Jefe.
peace.
Tim and I would like to thank our sound engineer and studio owner, Devin Wade, for always doing a great job with the sound, but also the beautiful facility that we get to use here at SFX Studios. We'd also like to thank Eddie Lynn, who takes and donates his time to the podcast to do all the video editing and everything you see on our social media. So really appreciate that from Eddie Lynn. And we'd also like to thank our friend Ralphie Darden, a.k.a. DJ Major Taylor, who gave us the original music that we use. So you're welcome, Tim. For
And
helping
almost just as importantly as everybody else that he mentioned, we would like to thank all of our listeners that submitted questions.
This is the Ninja Rock Podcast with Marco Perazzo and Tim Carpenter. The podcast for the true martial artist.